What's up? What's up? What is up? What is going on, people? Listen, this is another installment of By Any Means, the podcast live. So, look, check it out. If you haven't noticed, I'm by myself for the moment. For the moment. You got to understand, people. We are grown folk out here. We got families. We got responsibilities. You know, we are in school doing what we got to do to get ahead. You know what I'm saying? So, we might be running a little behind sometimes, but no worries. I got you. Listen, check it out. We had a fantastic episode of By Any Means. The topic was, wait, there you go, right there. Black owned business. See, this is why I don't buy black. Now, how many times have you guys heard yourself saying that? How many times have you caught yourself saying that? You go into a business or an establishment, or if you're trying to do business maybe it's a service business, right? And you're dealing with some folks who are the same color as you, you know what I'm saying? And something goes awry, something's not going right, maybe there's a gap in service, maybe there's a certain expectation that you were expecting to be met that's not being met. I don't know, and you find yourself kind of blaming it on the color of the person's skin, man. I tell you, if I hear one more person say CP time, it's going to be a problem, a real problem. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not violent, but you get my point, right? Yeah, it's just one of those things where, I feel like we have to be a bit more cognizant about how we speak to one another and about one another. You kind of speak things into existence. So if you're never speaking anything good about one another, how we expect to ever, get better? If we stop supporting one another, stop patronizing each other's businesses, how are we ever going to expect to get better, man? I don't know. I'm baffled. So what I want to do is, just kind of recap the episode until my partners get in here. So we had the owner of a great clothing brand, Legacy History Pride. Go check them out on Instagram. It's called Shop LHP, at Shop LHP on Instagram. And Mr. Legacy himself was on here, just kind of speaking to, his experience as a Black business owner, and we had a great conversation, and it was pretty impactful. Listen, speaking of the devil, we got a great personality that's about to join us, and I think you guys already know and love her. Here she is again, Miss Bridget.
Speaking of Angel.
Oh, true. Speaking of Angel, I'm sorry. See, look, we gotta be cognizant of the words that we speak to describe one another.
Listen, how you doing tonight? It's good to see you.
How about yourself? Good to see you as well.
I'm good. Working, but good.
No, listen, I totally understand, man. I told the folks already, man. We got families, we got responsibilities, we got schoolwork to do. Like it's hard out here, but we're here, and we do it because we believe in what the message that we're trying to spread, right?
Absolutely.
So listen, Bridget, one of my biggest takeaways from the episode, this is why I don't buy black, right? It was so many good moments in the episode. I'll be honest with you. It was a lot about that conversation that I appreciated. Despite the school that he went to, Mr. Legacy himself, I was greatly appreciative of him joining us because he's got a great brand. He's doing it for HBCUs, and he's putting the culture on his back in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So one of my greatest moments was really a collection of just having him on and him being so positive about what he's trying to accomplish, and then how he interacts with us. On a commercial standpoint. What do you think? What do you think in terms of what was your favorite moment from the episode?
Yeah, I would say I would echo literally what you're saying. I believe my young brother, his name is Tahir, if I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing it right, and I hope I am. So I hate messing up people's names, but Tahir, he was just a light.
yeah,
Um, and I think what I appreciated most about him, more kind of, I don't know if there was a favorite moment versus moments,
yeah.
especially as it related to his openness, willingness to kind of stay the course with Black business.
Absolutely.
We could all take a page out of his book, because I know sometimes I get frustrated, and I was transparent. Like, look, I've said this before.
Right.
I've said it before. It's come out of my mouth. And I also appreciated his perspective and his lens. And I said it then, and I'll say it now. I think he's very wise beyond his years in general, but specifically his business acumen. He's spot on. I'm excited. I'm excited about him.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's up. I didn't get a chance to say it on the episode just because of time restraints, but yeah, man, I've said it myself. This is why I don't do business with Black folk. And it's something that I've become more conscious of in my later years. I'll say the past few years, especially since I dove headfirst into my own entrepreneurial endeavors. I started to speak differently about other Black businesses, and I think that was the turning point for me. To be honest with you, just recognizing the struggle and the grind. And one thing about me, man, and I know this is kind of shifting a little bit, but it's kind of on my heart to say right now, but I am not afraid to walk away from a paycheck. I'm sorry. Hey, I mean, we know that obviously because I quit my job to start my own business, but money doesn't define me. You know what I'm saying? So, if I feel like I'm not getting my value, I will never hesitate to kind of exit stage left. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, just dealing with certain, customers sometimes, it makes you have to put yourself in a different kind of category. You know what I'm saying? It makes you kind of have to put yourself not necessarily in a different category, but if you don't appreciate and value who you are, then how else can you expect anybody else to do the same? And you got to take pride in what you do, or else you'll find a lot of people saying, see, this is why I don't buy Black. You know what I'm saying?
It's the truth. And I think sometimes we're not putting the right price tag on what we do. I've been listening to different people actually within the past week or so, and I've heard twice. Once was Sharonda Lawson. She's a Hampton University grad. She was talking today about Beyonce's Black is King. And she does law for people with I don't want to get it wrong, but just protecting their brand, events, entertainment. And she just was like going down all of the things, all of the credits basically that Beyonce got for Black is King. And she was talking about, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, the way that we should be thinking about it, all the jobs that we take on in our businesses, we technically should be compensated for every single job, right? And I know as up and coming entrepreneurs, that's not always the case, but I love that she talked about that. That's the lens that we should be thinking through, right? Maybe we're not there yet, but as a Black business owner, or for me, a newer Black business owner, up and coming Black business owner, I took, there was a big takeaway from that. I listened to another woman she went to Hampton University, Kashira Moffitt. She lives here in Pittsburgh with me. And Kashira does branding and all types of branding seminars and stuff. And her brand is like a totally different than like a Sharonda. Sharonda's a lawyer. Kashira was more on like the business end of it. But one of the things that she said in a live was also just about oftentimes we're pricing ourselves too low. We're not putting ourselves at the price tag that we actually should. And that devalues our brand. So just a bunch of nuggets, that I've been getting. I feel like they've been for me, like I've been taking them in. Like, these are for me.
That's the truth, though, because what happens and this is directly related to the title. What happens as a Black business owner when you devalue yourself, when you start doing a bunch of things and not being compensated for those things, is you wind up putting a whole lot of stuff on your plate this thing, that thing. You know what I'm saying? This thing, that thing, the third. Well, listen, most plates, okay, you got your main course, you got maybe 2 side dishes. That's about all you got room for. Everything else is just piling on top of one another, and it might wind up falling off the side. But what happens when you got so much on your plate? Like, people start to judge you, right?
Right.
Because you can't handle that plate as efficiently as you should be able to.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden you're taking lumps here and there because you're trying to do everything, right? For this one small price, which is this plate, and you wind up not being very good at anything.
Right.
Right? And you wind up being boxed into a corner where people are only willing to pay you a certain amount because of what they've heard or what they've seen or what you've done in the past, or whatever the case may be. So we got to be very cognizant about, and we have to be very adamant and intentional about setting our prices and our value and valuing our products and services, because you wind up putting too much on your plate and then you don't represent yourself well, and then people start looking at you like you're crazy. Because one thing we know, people will try to, and it's human nature, you can't really be mad at people for doing it, but they will take as much from you as humanly as you will let.
We are takers. We are takers. Yeah, we suck the air, right? Like I suck the air out the room, right? And we're I think naturally we want to get what we can get, but then who's left holding the bag? And at a minimum, if you've set your price and your value at a space that is what it's worth, then you put yourself in a position, for everyone to be happy, right? You not to feel like you're doing too much, somebody not to be upset at the product that they got that they really should have paid a lot less for. And we're always trying to get a deal, right? Like, so, hey, can you knock off a few, what's up, bro? What's up, sis? Can you knock off a few? So those are the types of conversations that we're having. And I think those things are okay. I think that's in us. It's all right. You go to Africa, you go to the market in Africa, you like, sissy, you having those conversations, and that, like, everything is a barter. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the deal. But I think we have to also be, as consumers, if we're going to be consumers of Black business, we also need to be thoughtful that we're paying our people what they're worth. And so I very rarely ask for discounts.
Me too. I'm in the same boat. And so let me bring Derek in real quick. What's up, my guy?
Hey.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, my people?
Rasheen, what's up, bro? I see you, man. What's up, Rasheen? My bad. My
boy. By any means, right?
By any means. By any means. No, look, I had to. So by any means, but hey, God bless y'all. Love y'all. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Kelvin. And hello to all the viewers. Let's go. Y'all do an excellent job, by the way. Excellent job.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, so look, Bridget, you mentioned barter system, right? I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with bartering for products and services. You know what I'm saying? The problem is, I'll tell you what's great about a barter system is that it's about give and take. It's about compromise. Okay, how much is this worth to you? This is what it's worth to me. Okay, now let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It's give and take. The problem is people want discounts. They don't want to give up anything.
They don't want to give nothing.
That's the problem. And at the end of the day, as a business owner, you got to stick to, you got to stick to your guns and be able to accurately assess your value. You know what I'm saying? And, if we're bartering and we're exchanging goods and services and skill sets, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm all for that 100%. But if you think you're going to dictate my value, you got another thing coming, because I will definitely exit stage left and go and find it somewhere else. One thing about me, I've literally been working for as long as I've legally been able to work. You know what I'm saying? Even before that, I remember I was probably about 7 years old. I used to ride bikes all the time. It was an old speaker that didn't work anymore. People kept asking me to fix their bike. So the speaker took the back off of it, took some markers, wrote Mr. Fix It Bike Repair on the back, and hung it on the clothesline in the back. Because we was from the hood, we ain't had no dryer.
You was awesome.
Had to put it on the clothesline, you know what I'm saying? So I hung the sign in the back and started fixing bikes in my backyard. You know what I'm saying? I was 7 years old. By the time I was 11, I was making $50 a month volunteering for the city. 14, got a real job at McDonald's. 6 months later, spilled milkshake mix on myself. So I quit. They wanted me to keep working. Like, I'm not about to do that. So I quit. Got a job at CVS. Started working at CVS. So now I find work, period. So I'm not afraid to walk away from it. And I've had to tell certain people no. But on the other hand, I'm also willing to provide goods and services for free as well. My little sister Brittany just hit me up last week about some marketing and branding for something that she's got going on. And I'm more than happy to do it for free because I love the girl. That's my little sister. And I'm willing to help her by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? I want to see us win, period. Yeah. So, as much as I stick to my value and know my value, I also try to give way more than I ever take. So, what I'm saying?
Something that you said though was good too, just about not being like, as a business owner, not being afraid to give things away for free as well. Because I think there's also a lot of value in that as a Black business owner specifically, right? Within the realm of possible, what are the things that you can do to get people talking about your business, to get talking about your brand, talking about what you do? One of the things that I did here fairly recently, and I also got a lot out of it, right? Like I was able to just give something, and it meant the world to me. But we had, I have a friend here who energized a Black, basically like a Black job fair, where Black businesses who were looking to hire got together, and it was classy too. It was nice, and got together and we did a job fair. And I do professional coaching, so I offered mini coaching sessions, free mini coaching sessions, 15 minutes discovery session. Let's talk about some of your goals while they're at the job fair, right? It was so dope. I ended up having like a waiting list of people coming to get coaching, and you never know. Well, in your mind, right? You started the business because you know that there's a need somewhere. But sometimes if you don't put yourself out there in a space for free, you're not able to make those connections, or maybe you're not able to make them as easily. And it was just so beautiful. I was doing many coaching sessions, and the majority of the folks who kind of sat down with me were young women, probably around the ages of like 20 to around like 27. And I was like, this is so dope. Like, it was just awesome. So give stuff away for free, win it if you can.
It can be considered a marketing expense, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Goodwill. It's a line item. But let me get this out the way, because Derek, I want people to be able to see your name, brother.
Oh, they don't need my name. Come on, man.
I feel it. But look, I want to hear from the people, man. I want to hear from the people. What are some of those stereotypes about Black businesses that I know we got a few watchers right now, a few viewers, onlookers. We want y'all to participate. So what's some of the stereotypes about Black businesses that you guys have heard, in your what's the word I'm looking for? Patronage? I don't know. When you go shopping, how about that? When you're looking for goods and services, slide in the comments. Let us know, man. What kind of stereotypes have come across your mind? Derek, real quick. What about your your experience? So look, we getting it right, all right. I had the wrong title. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to hit you up on the sneak.
I'm so transparent. Look, I call myself being proactive. I'm on this joint yesterday, and I'm trying to put the title in there. Like, all right, I'm good. When I come on tomorrow, I'm just gonna hit the little button, and it's gonna go across the bottom of the screen. It's gonna be so fly. And here I go messing things up again. It's all good though.
then on our next relationship episode, it's gonna be like, you know, Black women don't be here for Black men. I was here for you. Just remember today.
You held it down. I appreciate
queen status.
Hey, I'm an open book over here. But listen, so Derek, tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from the episode, man? You know, we spoke a little bit earlier. We got Tahir himself on from Legacy History Pride, the clothing brand. Look him up on Instagram, shop LHP on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was your favorite moment from the episode, man? Biggest takeaway while we're waiting on comment and stereotypes.
There were so many. Another good topic, another good episode. I think between the four of us, we provided some really good perspectives on the affirmative and the negative. But we kind of turned that around to speak about, or speak life, as was mentioned as well. You know, speak life, but speak truth. And that's for Black business, but that's for any business. Speak life, but speak truth. And it's really necessary in a Black sense because, you know, what we didn't say, but what we alluded to was that business is business. And I think we really give Black business a harder time than what's necessary, because the same things that we usually that we may experience in Black businesses, we experience in other businesses, whether they're small, mid, or large scale. So we got to hold everybody accountable. We got to speak life, but speak truth on no matter what level it is. And I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to have Tahir on, the owner of Shop Legacy History Pride, which stem from tradition ever since, and his other, he has that legacy. That's what we're all trying to give to our children. I mean, look, Bridget spoke about her son, who's very young, but able to absorb at a young age what we do professionally. We know they absorb what we do. They're sponges on a personal level, but when we bring work home, or when they're with us at work, the fact that they can absorb what we may not have with our parents growing up, but now that we're in these different seats and at these different tables and at these different doors, our kids are afforded another opportunity that we didn't have. And it's beautiful. Like, Bridget, I'm sure you were just like, wow. Just like, wow, I can't believe this.
Yeah, it was awesome. We were cracking up. I mean, it was so funny.
Well, that too. It is funny.
We were going to staff meeting. I'm like, what you know about staff meeting, boy? He told us what he was going to do about the coronavirus. So.
Hey.
On the way.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah, but yeah, Kelvin, at the end of the day, I mean, business is business, and I think we need to respect business, and we need to respect Black business just like we respect other businesses. At the end of the day, we're probably going to encounter some similar issues with our Black businesses that we do with other businesses. So look, somebody not going to like this, but I really do believe that, as we talk about it all the time, economic empowerment is key. So in terms of business and entrepreneurship is important, and we need representation everywhere. But in terms of those that are ready to start their businesses or have their businesses, let's patronize their business. Let's allow our money, cash flow, to go through their doors and to come back to the community. I think that's another talking point too, though, about reinvestment. And that kind of speaks to what Bridget said, not direct funds that you're from your revenue to the community, which I do want to happen. But like, think about giving free marketing or whatever, or something free, or a donation to the community. Look, the No Limit Soldiers Chronicles. I mean, it was talking about it with Master P. What did he do? How did he kick off? Man, like, he got his own distribution deal. But before that, what was he doing? He was creating a buzz in the street by selling his CDs out the trunk for free. He was selling his CDs out the trunk. What did he do before that? Yeah, what did he do before that? He literally, like, looked out for people that had to bump in their cars in every city. They gave them out to people and said, hey, blast it out. People wanted it. It created that buzz. So there's not only the marketing aspect, like you mentioned, Kelvin, but there's also the benevolence in actually giving back and donating to your community. And I think that's the problem. That's one of the beautiful things about right now, but it's also it's conflicting too. You think about Nike and all these other businesses, right? And think about Jeff Bezos's ex-wife. You know, I'm really glad that Hampton is one of those universities that received her donation, right? But and we talked about this. Now that she gave the money, it's like, okay, well, what business deal did we enter ourselves into? And then how are we going to use those funds? So look, the money's here, but now how are we going to use the funds? And I hope we're not in some type of business deal where, you know, they get some type of leverage. We need the leverage. We need the money. We need the leverage to be passed down to our people.
That makes me think about too, like, I had a conversation recently about, you know, I won't go super deep, but just kind of about like this more historical Black businesses or Black leaders and things like that. And to really obviously rely on the white dollar in order for, you know, things to be generated. And so sometimes when we need them to speak up in certain areas and certain arenas, they might not be there to speak up for us in the way that we need to, because the money has already gone. The money has already, white dollars have already come in to support the work that they're doing, even in the Black community, right? So it's not even our Black dollars being recirculated in our communities. And that creates a problem, right? It creates a problem, not because we said what money, there's no color to money, but it creates a problem from the standpoint of when it comes, people are oftentimes buying your voice. You're selling a part of your company, when you're selling, you know, royalties, when you're selling this and this and that, as you're scaling, even as a small business, getting, you know, partnerships and things like that, you're oftentimes selling part of your, like, you're selling your soul, you know? And so, you know, there's a lot of situations where people could potentially be either more vocal or doing more in the community or whatever, but because of the way that the business structure is set up, and I love that you talked about that, Derek, is like they may not be able to do certain things simply because of who they receive their money from. They can't move freely.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I personally had to take a pivot. You know, I'm big on audiobooks now because you know, and I think I spoke about this a little while ago, a few weeks ago, but I'm big on audiobooks now because, number one, my entire life, whenever I sat down to read a book, it put me to sleep. so the truth of the matter is, like, textbook, any goddamn matter. The only book I've ever read, two books that I've ever read and didn't fall asleep on, that was Lord of the Flies and my book that I wrote.
I was about to ask, did you fall asleep on your own book?
If you did, don't tell the truth.
I ain't fall asleep on mine because it was short. You know what I'm saying? I did it on purpose. For people like me who don't really like to read and who will fall asleep unless it's like really entertaining. So, you know, I wrote it from that perspective. Anyway, the point is, there's only two books I never fall asleep on. So I listen to a lot of audio books, and it's funny. Everybody likes Shark Tank, right? I do, at least. I sit there and probably watch every episode that's ever existed of the show, like on repeat. And I read Barbara Corcoran's book. I read Mark Cuban's book. I read Damon. Well, I'm on my third Damon John book. And well, I didn't read, I listened to it. But there was a recurring theme in coming from all three of those sharks. And that was, don't take money from sharks. Don't take money from venture capitalists and angel investors, right? Because the minute you do, the minute you're in there asking them for money, they got the upper hand and they're going to try to take as much as possible from you. And number one. Number two, they can give you a false sense of security by giving you all this money to do God knows what with. And there's no guarantee that you've actually taken the lumps that you need to take in order to be successful. Right. So don't be so quick to take the money from VCs and angel investors. In fact, Damon John told a story about the fact one time he convinced a kid who made bow ties not to take a deal on Shark Tank because it would have ruined him and his bit. He would have been giving equity away for no reason. So his offer to the kid, he came in asking probably for $150,000 or something like that. His offer to the kid was, "Don't take any money, and I will mentor you." It goes back to what we were just talking about, Bridget, right? Giving stuff away for free. He offered his time.
Wow.
He's this kid, and they were still kind of thinking about it, trying to figure out what deal he was going to take until the mom stepped in and was like, "Look, he might be the CEO of this Thai company, but I'm the CEO of him. Damon, we're going to take your mentorship offer."
Yes, I've never seen that one.
Yeah. So it's like, man, it's like, sometimes you don't need that extra capital injection. You don't need somebody else taking control over even partially of what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's wisdom.
No, go ahead.
No, I just said that's wisdom. Like that's wise.
And me personally, man, I'm a big fan of taking lumps, only because I'm a bigger fan of winning, and I know that every single lump that I take is going to lead me closer to that W. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not taking no losses, but I'll take a few lumps. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and I feel like more people kind of have to have that mindset and more people need to go through it. I hate when people come from a place of privilege and say, this is what I think you're worth. You don't know me. Derek said, last episode, you don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my story. You don't know my value. I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm setting my price based on what I've been through, all of the things that I've done to get to where I am today, how hard it's been for you to get here. So if you can't appreciate that, then look, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. But yeah, I want to hear, man. I want to hear about Black businesses. I agree with you, Rasheen, man. People's mindsets do need to change about Black businesses, man. And it's like you don't trust each other. Now, Bridget, I do want to talk about this though, because we were going back and forth. Well, not back and forth. We were having a discussion, a cordial discussion about about the caption on the episode. And I was coming off in a certain kind of way, right? I was coming off kind of preachy, and you kind of called me on it, and I appreciate that. Even though I disagreed with your assessment of what I said, I didn't disagree with your perception of what I said. You see what I'm saying? Because you're just like somebody else who could have read it and taken it a different way than what my intention was, right? And people got to understand perspective. So this is what did I say, Bridget? I said something. It was something to the effect of we got to treat Black people to treat people who aren't Black like 5-year-olds.
5-year-olds.
Yeah, like 5-year-olds, and just kind of be cognizant. Well, assume that they are always listening, and they're free to interpret whatever is being said, in their own manner. So we got to kind of be cognizant and think about how we're the things that we're saying. Doesn't mean that you don't correct them, but at the end of the day, we should kind of act like that so that we're kind of we're not painting ourselves in a bad light, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? So if all I do is go around and I talk about Black businesses, this, Black businesses that, I don't do business with Black people. People always doing this. We always late. We always like quality always bad. Take too long. Well, other people are listening.
Oh, that's what you meant.
See what I mean?
Light bulb.
See what I mean? Yeah, that's what I meant. It's like other people are always listening, so we can't talk about one another in a certain light. I need to be speaking good about my,
Got it.
My queens.
I'm good. So basically, what you said was, I like to repeat things back because then lets me know I had it right. So what you're saying is that when we're talking about my son, a 5-year-old child sitting around listening, hears everything you're saying, taking that all in, right? A white person sitting around hearing us talk bad about our own stuff is taking that all in, just like a 5-year-old child. In my mind, we were like giving them a pass for something like and I was like, no. But what you're saying is that we need to be thoughtful about what we say about our own businesses in front of others, because basically we're re-perpetuating the things that people may already think are negative and believe about us in the first place.
Yes. That is what I'm saying. But to your point, right? A lot of context is lost in just words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So without context, without that body language, without the ability to check for understanding, again, like things are left open to interpretation. So in the process of trying to explain, on paper or on the screen, why we have to be cognizant about how we talk about Black businesses, I wound up doing the exact same thing as one of the outsiders that I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or at least leaving that open to interpretation.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was talking about. And again, like children are sponges, right? They're always listening, not to disrespect anybody. And I'm not calling anybody a child. I'm just saying that a lot of times, even on the outside as a Black man, on the inside looking at two white people having a conversation, I'm also taking things in on purpose, though. Like I'm on purpose listening and trying to understand their conversation and putting my own perspective on it. You know what I mean? My perception of what they're saying can be completely different than what their intentions are when speaking to one another. But when they speak to me, they're probably going to speak to me in a different way, right? Because I may not understand what they're saying. So, or they may assume that I don't understand. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I think that's a really good segue into another point, how we encapsulate kind of the episode and also the title. Kelvin, I'm glad that you bring that up, because we do need to be conscious about our surroundings, right? Be aware of who's around us and who our audience is. So in terms of us having a live audience today, and also a continued audience that will go back to YouTube and watch this, or go to BAMPodLive.com by any means, the podcast live. So what I want to say is I want our own people, and I want all people to understand speaking life and speaking truth. It is 100% okay and valuable for a specific group to want their group to do well and to inject knowledge and finances into that community. It has been done. It's on record in other communities. And, we're so hard on the Black community. People inside of the Black community and people outside of the Black community want to say, oh, Black on Black crime. And, oh, look, you can't do this. You can't do that. Oh, look at this particular one that rose from that environment. So how come you can't do it? I want us to take a moment and say, look, really look at history, really look at trend analysis, and really understand a people to say, I'm going from the speaking life, but speaking truth. It's okay to speak life, to say, hey, we need our own businesses. We need our own communities. We need to circulate our dollar. Why? Because that will help be a resolution, a solution for some of the problems that we have that other people, the government is not giving money to correct the hood, to correct the ghetto, to correct the poor rural areas, especially not Black areas of those types. So if the government isn't doing it, who has to do it? We talked about this, private sector. So it's okay for us to create our businesses that are our own, so that our people can circulate our dollars in the Black community, and then for those businesses to in turn reinvest time, effort, energy, knowledge, resources, finances into our community, so we can solve some of the problems that we have. Because A lot of businesses, think about it, like the NFL. The NFL's been around for so long, but now because of George Floyd and these sensitive times and this climate right now, you want to say, okay, well, I was wrong a few years ago. There are actual problems. Let me donate to some Black organization. Why now? This has been going on forever. And then you also say on the other end, well, why y'all have to separate yourselves? Why do you have to separate yourself? That's reverse racism. No, it's not. Other communities have done this for years. Let us do this so we can build and fix our own communities. And you also need to know there are a lot of people on the ground, like Bridget, like Kelvin, like Derek, like many others, that are helping youth every day to impart life into our community to stop some of the problems. So as much as you want to point fingers talking about black on black crime and all this other stuff, man, look, you have no idea. So stop talking about people and do something. If you're going to talk about it, do something to fix it.
Man.
Well,
100%. 100%. So look. No, I always say you distracted me with that whole NFL thing, man, because that kind of made me upset too. I ain't gonna lie, that made me upset mainly because I try to tell people when it first happened that it was all over money. At the end of the day, it always goes back to the greenback. I told people I was like, listen, he is costing these people some money. Sponsors are pulling out. That's why they're kicking him out. They don't care for real.
Yeah.
Just costing them money. And then now that it's popular to be black, to be pro-black, you know what I'm saying? they want to give him opportunities to come back to the league. Come on. It's all about the dollar. You distracted me with that one, bro.
My bad.
So that makes me think about thinking about right now, right? Being black. We should capitalize off of this, right? People are wanting to hire black. They wanting to put more black people with the faces of their products. They're wanting, yes, please give me money, give me a job. I'm serious. I will take it. But I wonder, what are you guys' feelings about that, right? That is it a fad? Is it a phase? Do we think it's gonna go away? Should we get in while the getting is good and then, figure it out later? So I don't know. I'm just wondering. I know how I feel about it just from the standpoint of, listen, if there's something out there to grab, go ahead and grab it. But I'm wondering, is it sustainable? I see Kelvin thinking so differently, anyway.
I'm always in left field, man. I'm a natural skeptic, but I'm a realist as well. So, you asked the question, is it sustainable? Do I think it's a fad? Do I think it's going away? Yes. Absolutely. I believe at some point it's going to go away. There'll be some other national tragedy that will take our attention away from us, something else. And to your point, I feel like we need to, get while the getting is good, strike while the iron is hot. You know what I'm saying? If there's money to be had, go and grab it, but use it the right way. That is my biggest issue, right? And I speak about this often. Is we might have the money grab, we might be able to go and get the money right now. It's so popular to be black right now, but without the know-how and what to do with it, right? Knowing what to do with it without the infrastructure, right? Then that money will wind up going right back out of the black community, right? And without the will to pass down and pass on, pay forward knowledge and insight, then whatever is had will be left with this small group of people, and it's not going to be shared with the masses. I feel like we've lost a lot of compassion with our, our history and culture went away. Our compassion has gone away as well over time, and not enough of us reaching back and grabbing and bringing other people, up out of the barrel. Right? You think about crabs in the barrel; it's all about pulling them down. Well, look, I want to be a crab coming out the barrel, and I'm gonna grab you and pull you out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, come out, like progress. You know, I know that's not typically how that term is supposed to be used or how that colloquial is supposed to be, articulated, but that's how I like taking things and flipping them on their head, and that's one of them, right? Like I want to be a crab in the barrel, well, coming out of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? So I can reach one and grab one and bring them out too. But I feel like there's not enough people like that now. It's a big push. You know, I feel like it's popular to be helpful right now as well. But again, I think it's a fad, and I think that it'll go away over time. Now, I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but at the same time, I'm a huge optimist. Right, so it's balanced.
I don't know if that's possible.
It is. It is. I'm pessimistic, but at the same time, I'm like, by any means, I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure that this doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, again, a big part of why I exist right now is to help others. And in return, I'll be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no worries whatsoever. So yeah, man. What do you think, Derek? I think it's a fad. I think it's going away, but you know, I feel like if enough of us care enough, we'll prevent it from happening.
Yeah, I'm torn on that sliding scale. I'm somewhere sliding, swaying from side to side on that. But I do believe that we're in the midst of opportunity.
I would agree.
Come on now.
That's we gotta get some snaps. That was deep. That was deep.
Come on now. That's like that right there. Rasheem, I agree, man. I like a lot of times again, y'all looking for a handout when that's not the case.
Well, what if I don't know, can I just say, but what like no, if you handing it out, I'm gonna take it.
No, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So there's two sides, and I think there's two sides, right? There's what you're doing, and there's why you're doing it, right? And I think we need to be careful about that. I mean, I think we spoke to that when in terms of the Jeff Bezos' ex-wife and donating funds to HBCUs. We got to be careful about the dealings that we're involved in, the actual business deal or contract, the leverage that we're giving away, the market share that we're giving away. I think we need to be careful with that, but we also know, like, we can't say that we've needed resources, no matter what they are, in whatever form, whether it's housing, education, money, finances, business opportunity, loans, real estate, land. We can't say that we've been wanting and asking for these things, and then when they come, well, there's another handout, right? So there's two sides to it. You got to be cognizant and careful. But then, Kelvin, to your point, and Bridget too, strategy. We got to plan. We got to have an appropriate plan of action. And everybody, look, all Black people are not going to be on the same page. We are not a monolith group. We are not monolithic. So everybody's not on the same page. But we all know that there are many disparities from our community to otherwise. And that being said, if we can appropriately plan on certain agenda topics, wait for next week's episode, everybody. if we can appropriate our certain agenda topic to allocate funds to, it would really help. And Kelvin, we're not going to talk about what we're cooking.
No.
We're not going to talk about what we're cooking, but that's one thing too, because in terms of economic empowerment and having that money, because in this corporation of America, this business of America, what do you need? You need money to come to the table. We don't have money collectively to come to the table, so we don't have that leverage to get our agenda passed, right? So what do we need to do?
I just keep thinking about Cardi B. Money. That's all.
Money.
Money.
No, but we need money, and there's a lot of different agendas that we have to be fixed or resolved, but we also need money to back us to be looked at and respected at the business table. So that's why something that's cooking up is important, because it's not only a way to inject financial literacy and housing and financial wealth into a community that's been left behind, but it's also to not do that just for now, but for the future. That compounding interest, that investment, how can we give that to people so that it doesn't just evaporate once they get handed the money?
At the end of the day, right, it's about opportunity, right? Like you got to take, like, again, opportunity shouldn't be a privilege. I mean that. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to have the same access to the same opportunity to be as successful as you want to be, as per your definition of success. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever opportunities are, you should have opportunities to do that. It shouldn't be predicated on what socioeconomic class you were born into, what skin you were born into. You know what I'm saying? Where you fall on the scale of how old you are, or what your sexual preference is, or whatever the case may be. Like opportunity shouldn't be predicated on those types of things. Everybody in America should have the opportunity to get out there and do it exactly whatever the heck it is that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And it starts with losing fear. Fear, and we talked about this, I believe, in the episode. If not this episode, it's the one that's coming next week. Sorry, but we talked about fear. You know what I'm saying, and having the confidence to go into any room, sit at any table. You know what I'm saying, and speak your piece and be confident in the skill sets that you learn, the information that you learn. You know what I'm saying, and speak about yourself confidently, and and regardless of what the situation is, right? Because I think it'll lead to better. The more confident you are, the more self-assured you are. It doesn't mean you have to be cocky or arrogant. You just got to be proud of who you are, and know what you know and know what you don't know, and don't be afraid to not know something. Because at the end of the day, as long as you represent yourself well and people like you, they'll give you chances and opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like if we carry ourselves in that certain way, in that certain manner, and respect one another, there should be no need to walk into a business whenever a mistake is made and say, see, this is why I don't buy black. So I don't mess with black people, man. Black people don't know how to do this, they don't know how to do that. I cannot stand that. I promise you, I can't stand it. Because nobody's perfect. But all of a sudden you're expecting us to be perfect just because we look the same. Come on, man. You don't do that when you walk into these other establishments, So, don't be so, be confident in who you are. Don't be so judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Even though it sounds like I'm being judgmental right now, but I promise you I'm not. This is coming from a place of love. I love my people, man. I love my people. I love everybody, to be honest with you. And I just want us to do better. That's all.
I got a thought about confidence. Quick, I guess, story about like this, a war story. I got a whole bunch of war stories. I don't really tell them on here, and I haven't done that yet, but I got war stories. But this one has to do with being in Iraq, in Afghanistan, running missions, doing mission briefings for soldiers that were getting ready to go out on the road, right? And I was not very confident at the time as an officer. I was struggling with my confidence as an officer as to whether or not the work that I was doing was good work. Like, is this work that I'm doing good work, right? And what I started to do in order to, or once, the thing that helped me to gain some of that confidence is that I went down to a mission briefing. I sat in a building and gave information, but the mission briefings happened outside of the truck before they got ready to go on mission, right? So I went out to the truck, got a chance to hear the briefing, and everything that I had put in my report, everything that my soldiers had done and analyzed and put in the report were the things that they were talking about, with the soldiers before they went out, on the route, like on a dangerous route, right? Looking for bombs. And in that moment, it boosted my confidence, and it showed me that the product that I'm creating, that I'm putting a lot of work into, a lot of energy into, a lot of people into, I'm able to see how that product is being used on the other end. And it creates this cycle of confidence. Now I know that my product's not only being used, it's effective, right? And I'm getting feedback. And now I know that things are the thing that I'm putting out is useful. And I translate that almost into, business as well. Don't be afraid to get that feedback from your customers. Yeah. If you're sucking, if you're not doing well, take that in, take that criticism, and rewire and retool, fix it. You know what I'm saying? Get better. Continuous improvement is something that's super, super important, right? I was able to listen to that presentation, listen to that briefing and say, okay, go back to my soldiers and say, well, we might need to do this a little bit different, or maybe they need the product, maybe they need the actual piece of paper to look like this because it being this size is too big. It might get wet if it's raining. Like, I was able to adjust my model knowing how the end user was using it. So don't be afraid to be at all pieces and parts of your chain, right? Interject yourselves in all of those spaces. But that's one of the things, and that helps to build confidence. So my leadership development tip for the day.
That's the truth, man. I say all the time, look, tell me the truth. I don't care if you think you're going to hurt my feelings. Tell me the truth. You see, I can use that. But you telling me a lie only tells me that you can't be trusted.
Rebuke that. Rebuke the lie.
I don't care, man. I tell people all the time, I got skin as thick as the ocean is deep. Tell me the truth. I promise you I won't get mad. I tell my daughter, I got a 4-year-old daughter. I literally told her like yesterday, I said, tell me the truth. I promise you won't get in trouble. But if you lie to me, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell me the truth. We can deal with it. We can use that information. And I take that same mentality into any type of business dealing that I'm having at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You don't like something, tell me you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But if I offer you a fix and you don't want to do it, then what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's on you. That's not on me. I've done my professional responsibility. I told you what my advice was. You're not taking. Anyways, I feel like I just be going off on tangents sometimes. It's got a lot going on up in here, man. Got a lot going on up in here. Anyways,
it's good. It's good and beneficial. Yeah, it's good, and it relates. And I'm glad that Bridget kind of brought up feedback in her spiel of her experience in providing service to this great nation. So thank you for your service once again, ma'am. But Kelvin, and feedback is funny because a long time ago, my mentors, and also my employers once told me, and Bridget, I know you're big into leadership development, so I've been in a ton of leadership courses, right? So they say feedback. They say feedback is a gift. So feedback is a gift. It may be difficult, but it's a gift. So I'm spot on with you.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I feel like this has been another productive conversation, man. I always enjoy talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
It's always fun. At the end of the day, gosh, let's be a little more compassionate, man.
Give a little grace.
Give a little grace.
You know?
Your grace.
We've been through enough. All right.
And give feedback. Give feedback.
Give feedback and help us grow.
Mm-hmm.
This has been another installment of By Any Means podcast live. We release new episodes every single Monday. We are live on Wednesdays. Usually put out a promo on Friday. At the end of the day, we are working hard to hold these conversations and hold one another accountable and have these strong, courageous conversations about issues that happen both internally and externally, when it comes to the Black community. So come back and join us. At the end of the day, we want to hear from you guys because we want to know what you think, what you want to talk about, what current events are going on. Next week, we got something really good for you because I have to deal with your pockets. All right? So come back and join us next week. If you are a avid commenter. If you are engaging, we might even bring you on the show. So, you know, make sure you're looking right. You know what I'm saying? Got the flyest gear on, and we'll bring you on and we'll talk to you. We can have a conversation, man. It's all about you and having these conversations that you want to talk. You know, talking about things that you want to talk about. So, once again, I am Derek. I mean, look, I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie, I am exhausted, man. I am exhausted. I need to go to bed. All right. Sorry, that's Derek. I'm Kelvin.
I'm Bridget.
Hey, you already.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, that's Derek. Y'all have a good night. I'm going night. I'm sleepy.
Thank you guys.
Love y'all. See y'all next week. Oh, let me do this real quick before we go. Check this out.
Last night.